So how does someone kind of like prepare themselves for like the longevity in fitness, right? So it's like if like someone like me who's 45 years old or any of our listener viewers that want the longevity in their 40s, 50s, 60s, like what can they do in their 20s and 30s to like kind of sustain them long term? Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Method podcast, and I'm your host, Josh Grimm. Your body knows the truth about how you're showing up long before your mind admits it. Physical fitness is one of the most honest mirrors that we have. It reflects how we show up, how we manage discomfort, and how we treat ourselves when things get hard. For me, personal training has never just been about aesthetics. It's been about trust, pertinence, longevity, happiness, energy, a somewhat of an antidepressant, trusting myself to stay consistent, to push when needed, and to listen when rest is required, to prove to myself that I am the champion that I actually feel inside. This episode is about movement as a foundation for life, how strength carries over into confidence, and how discipline in the gym builds discipline everywhere else that comes about into your existence. We talk about sustainability, longevity, and why fitness isn't something you do to your body, but something you do with your body. If you've fallen out of rhythm, or you're looking for a change, or you're looking to reconnect with your physical self in a deeper way and to understand what is going on with your body, this conversation is for you. Let's move. Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Method podcast, and I am your host, Josh Grimm. So I like to consider myself someone that is kind of in it for the long game of learning. I do not pretend to know everything it is about fitness, wellness, nutrition, mindset, all of those things, but I do have a passion for a few of those topics, and one of them is sustainable fitness. And so my guest today is going to help me and all of you viewers and listeners out there kind of get some clarification on exactly what that topic means. So my guest today is Anthony Lenti. He's a friend of mine here in New York City. He's a classic physique competitive bodybuilder. He is a health, fitness, and wellness coach, and he has been on some of my podcast discussions before, and he is going to sit here and give us some of the valuable information to help us understand what it is for longevity and sustainable fitness. So, Anthony, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I want us to talk a little bit about kind of demystifying the fads around fitness, wellness, sustainability, and longevity in the industry. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, exactly what brought you into this path, and what you do?
So right now I'm personal trainer, coach here in New York City. I also have a couple competitors that I'm prepping for shows. And what really got me into it was my own health journey. Back when I was 15, my appendix burst, and that really just like set me on this path because I was like, I never wanted to feel that way again. So I've been professional trainer now for just about 10 years. I've worked with all different types of people. I've been in and out of a few gyms, done my own thing, and just love what I do.
But you had your own gym. When was that? That was how long ago?
2019 to 2023.
Yeah, and how was that experience?
It was good. I mean, I learned a lot, both what to do and what not to do in terms of what I thought would be running a business. Definitely some valuable lessons there. And eventually I would like to delve into that path again, or like do my own thing again.
Right. When you think about like the longevity in fitness and sustainable fitness, like what is one of the first things that comes to mind?
I'd say the biggest thing, honestly, is just finding what you actually enjoy doing.
Right.
Like, a lot of people love group fitness, or they like running, whatever. Like whatever your thing is, you can make it work for you, for your goals. And just, if you enjoy it, you can stick with it.
And do you like going into one-on-one training right now? Do you find that more valuable than having your own actual gym and fitness center?
Yeah, I would say it's a little more intimate in that way. Like when you're a business owner, you kind of have to separate yourself,
right,
in certain aspects. I was still training a lot of people during that time, so I was still getting that intimacy amongst people. But like I've found when you're really working with someone, obviously you talk about life, you talk about things, but just seeing the mindset shift over the course of, months or years even. And from, a lot of people I've worked with have been like, I hated working out. Like thought of going to the gym was like the last thing I ever wanted to do. And then as time went on, they're like, you've become a part of my routine, and I can't see myself not working out anymore now.
So what does actually sustainable training look like for you? For not for you specifically, because we'll talk about that later, but for your clients.
I mean, I keep things very simple. Like I'm a no thrills kind of trainer. Like
You don't say.
just just like no,
we don't get that vibe at all.
I like to stick with the basics. You know, a lot of people seek perfection when it comes to fitness, and in doing so, they throw themselves off because it's like, oh, if I can't eat organic and I can't work out 5 days a week and I can't run 4 days a week or whatever, if I can't do all of it, then I'm going to do nothing. So it's just like, let's just keep it simple. I'm going to show you the basic exercises, and we'll build up from that.
Right. Whenever you're training with some of your clients, do they go in all or nothing, or with your guidance, or do you have to do most of your clients need a lot of like coaching and guidance along the way?
Oh, definitely a lot of coaching and guidance. Because a lot of people have an idea of what they need to do, but then in terms of like actually putting it into practice is very different. So like everyone knows you got to move more and eat a little bit less to lose weight, right? Like that's not a secret, but actually doing it, it's like, okay, let's try this and let's try this, and like let's try little things here and there. Right. Like putting these ideas in people's heads is totally necessary.
Do you feel like you're an approachable coach to your clients, or do you feel like you are someone that kind of just like beats them down?
No, definitely. So when people first see me and like maybe that first conversation, a lot of people are like, oh, he's gonna kick my ass, like it's gonna be. But then literally everyone is like, oh, no, that's not the case at all.
Right.
Although I had this one guy I've been training for like 5 years now. First time we worked out together, we did lateral raises, like 5-pound lateral raises. And he was like, I thought you broke my arms. Like literally, I thought you broke my arms.
And you were proud?
I'm like, no, you're good. Like you're fine. Trust me. But just things like that. Like, yeah, people have this idea in their head that I'm going to like kick their ass. And it's like, no. Like,
I don't actually have the science behind it. You want them to get to their goals. You're not just trying to.
Well, because you don't want to overwhelm people. Right. Like I've had so many people come up to me and be like, hey, can you write me a workout program? I'm like, sure, here you go. Boom. And they're like, whoa, this is too much. Right. So when it's online, it's a little bit different. But when it's one-on-one, you can like actually see how they're doing and progress that way.
Right. How does someone know if they're like training too much or too little? Is it like their physical ailments? Is it something they're actually feeling, or?
Yeah, I mean, you listen to your body. Like when you're going hard for so long, like your body's going to tell you eventually, like, we gotta back off a little bit. And a lot of people also don't get to that point. Like a lot of people don't know what that actually feels like because they've never done it before, right? Mm-hmm. So getting a pump or like, a little bit of soreness might feel like the end of the world, but it's like something you get used to and you learn. It's like, oh no, this is fine. I can push myself a little bit more.
So what is your current like training routine? Because I know last time we spoke, your goal was to be this like monster.
It still is.
So where are you? Where are we on that monster scale?
So like I'm fluctuating right now between like 240 and 243.
But obviously I know that that's not the only goal is the size. It's the way you feel and your strength and everything else.
Oh yeah, of course.
What are the other determining factors about how do you get to that point?
I mean, just aesthetics, really, like how things are looking. And like with a bulk, you don't want to put on too much fat. You want to keep that like pretty in check. Right. Because then you're not putting on like actual muscle. Like I could put on weight, right? I could just go eat 5 pizzas a day and I'd put on weight, but how much of that would actually be muscle? So it's the aesthetics, it's how I'm feeling, it's how I'm looking. Like
right. So what's your current diet?
A lot of carbs. So I'm eating 1,500 grams of rice, about 450 of cream of rice. So it's 3 meals and 3 meals, so 150 and 500 grams each, and then like eggs and chicken, stuff like that.
Okay. How many times a day?
6.
Okay, good. And so your goal, you're at 240 to 243. I think you told me is it 260?
260, 270.
260.
That's like the end goal.
So
like,
another 30 pounds.
Give or take, yeah.
Close to. That's wild.
So I think I was just speaking to my coach today. Like we have about another six-ish weeks of like this serious bulk. And then we'll probably do a health phase for like 2-ish months.
Okay.
And then do another bulk after that.
Okay. And so what about your actual gym routine? Your resistance training, obviously. What's your cardio like?
Right now, none.
0.
Yeah. Because for me,
That's
like
nice.
putting on putting on weight is a little bit more of a challenge. So like my coach cut out cardio. But it's like, I'm moving around all day and I'm running around from session to session. So like, on a 12-hour day, I'll be uptown, downtown, midtown, downtown. Like, I'm probably getting like 20,000 steps just doing my job.
Right.
So added cardio on that would just be detrimental.
So what does your like kind of recovery or your downtime look like? Are your rest days just eating?
Just eating and like I don't do anything. Like obviously chores or whatever, but like in terms of like exercise, I try to minimize as much as possible on my rest days. Like I personally don't do active rest where it's like, oh, let's do like yoga or something.
You're not going to be sitting in your living room doing planks.
Exactly. Like some people are like that though. Some people are like, I need to do something every single day. And it's like, no. I enjoy my downtime.
So what's the goal? I mean, besides the size, what's the end goal as far as like competing again? What are you trying to achieve?
So the way it works is you do what's called a local show. And then if you win that, you do a national show. If you win that, you get your pro card. And that's when you start competing on the pro circuit. So that's the end goal.
Right.
But, time is also kind of the essence here.
Right.
I'm almost 34, and just like these kids are getting younger and younger competing. No, there's 19-year-olds turning pro. Right. So it's like the kids are like actually, they're starting at like 14, 15. And by the time they're hit 19, 20, they're like already in phenomenal shape. And it's just like, oof.
Well, do you think that's too early to start training like that?
Oh, 100%.
You said 100%? Yeah. I mean, it's too hard on your body, no?
Yeah. Well, and also, like, it's one of those things where you have to really know that's what you want to do. And, like, maybe some people have an idea where it's like, oh, this is the only thing I'm ever going to do. But it's like you're putting a lot of stress on your body.
So how does someone kind of, like, prepare themselves for, like, the longevity in fitness, right? So it's like, if like someone like me who's 45 years old or any of our listener viewers that want the longevity in their 40s, 50s, 60s, like what can they do in their 20s and 30s to like kind of sustain them long term?
I just get into strength training, period.
Yeah.
Like you see so many people around in their 20s and 30s who don't lift anything ever.
Right.
And you can tell, right? And there's some people who just look like haggard or they look just worn down, and it's like, yo, you're 30 years old, like you shouldn't be acting this way. Right. So a lot of people, you party in your 20s and whatever, but just get into strength training in some aspect, like whatever that looks like for you.
So personally for you, your recovery, besides rest, is there anything specific that you do? Like, do you change any habits during the week for like your meals or anything? Or because I guess you're on a specific program right now with your coach, but do you do anything that's kind of like that that works for you for your body's recovery, so you don't have any kind of pain or anything that's going to...
When I remember, I do Epsom salt baths.
Yeah.
And like I've been slowly but surely getting into more recovery. Like I'm going to start looking into yoga in the new year and doing like cold plunges and hot tubs and things like that, and really starting to take that more seriously. Because I have noticed, 34 again, like things are starting to like really creep up. And it's scary. It's not scary, but it's just like eye-opening where it's like, oh, 5 years ago I was doing this no problem. And as time goes on, it's like, oh, like I'm starting to feel achy,
Right. So you're understanding the importance of recovery for when it comes to longevity.
Yeah. Stretching and all these types of things.
Well, it's probably hard as a big guy like you to do yoga or stretching. I can imagine, right?
Oh, yeah. No, my mobility is garbage.
I think that we should probably film that one day, to be honest with you, watching you do like some yoga.
Well, I did. This was years ago. I did hot yoga with a friend. And at first I was crushing it. Like I was doing pretty well. And even the instructor was like, oh, you're doing great. And then, hot yoga just hit a wall. And I was like, I'm going to pass out. Like I had to leave because I was like, this is awful. And never again. Ever since I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but like, you have to protect your ego a little bit.
Well, because you see like 70-year-old women crushing it. And it's just like, oh, damn. Like,
right. What do you think? Are there like any kind of habits, like longevity habits, recovery habits that people undervalue?
Honestly, food. Like food is probably the biggest thing that a lot of people don't take into account. Like, you hear the whole, like, I eat for performance or whatever. But when you start eating healthier, like your body just feels better. And I was actually discussing this with a trainer friend of mine where he was saying, like, a lot of people haven't done it, so they don't know what they're missing out on. Because I was saying, like, oh, it's so crazy to me that people don't, like, move or eat well or whatever. And it's like, if you've never done it before, you don't know how it feels. Right. So if you just get into eating healthier, you'll just feel better.
Right. Do you, whenever you're not in like show season or when you're not on that journey, does it change much as far as like your diet? Obviously the volume changes, but your actual diet itself?
Not really.
You're a pretty clean eater.
Yeah, for the most part. Like now, you know, if my coach ever sees this, for legal purposes, no, like during now, it's called the off season. Like I'm a little less strict with what I eat. Like I'm still eating a lot, but it's like, I can have 2 or 3 cheat meals a week. Whereas when you're in prep, like that's totally out the window.
Right.
And then when I travel, when I go on vacation, I don't stick to a meal plan.
Oh, really?
I was in Italy in August, and I was like, I'm gonna eat the pizza and pasta and drink wine.
Right.
Like I'm not going to Italy to like eat chicken and rice all week. Like that's stupid.
Right. You have to enjoy.
Well, it's also a mental reset. Like, it's a time to like not have to think about anything, and you come back and you just feel better, and you're like ready to go.
I mean, we've talked about this before, and I think you have a lot of like value to give about supplements and your insight on that. Do you want to share a little bit about what you think is important for people that are like kind of getting a little bit into their age of like their late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, early 50s? What kind of supplements and what kind of things should we be taking? Are we talking about peptides? Are we thinking about...
Peptides are definitely becoming a lot more common, and a lot more people are starting to use them. Like you have these TRT clinics, and personally, I think most men should be on testosterone, especially as they approach their 40s and 50s. Like it is sort of like a reverse aging serum in a way. Like you feel better, you move better, you're putting on a little bit of muscle. Like it has so many benefits, and people are obviously afraid of the side effects, but it's like, if you're doing TRT doses and you're working with a doctor and you're getting your blood checked, like there's really not too many risks there.
Right.
So I definitely would say that if you're not like, at least look into it, right? It's something people should at least consider. And then with just like regular supplements, definitely creatine. Yeah. Creatine's something like 99% of people should be on, because it's come out now that it has cognitive benefits as well.
I've heard that.
So just, that is something too that a lot of people start losing. Everyone's attention span is like a goldfish. So it's just like help out your brain every way you can.
Has there ever been any negative feedback or reviews about creatine? I don't think so. I never heard anything.
Nothing major. Like if like your creatinine levels can be like a little wacky if it's like a bad brand. Like that is kind of the negative side of, or the bad side of supplements. There are some that are just not great quality.
Right.
Like I was taking one years ago and I was getting the worst cramps. Like wake up in the middle of the night and just like everything was cramping up. Like, it was awful. And I drink a lot of water, so it wasn't that. And then when I stopped that brand, I was just like, oh, okay. Like I felt better. So that is something too to consider. Like do a little bit of research when it comes to supplements and see what brands are reputable.
Can you explain the idea of like the creatine bloat? Because there's so many, like, there's some that do like the 7-day loading phase and some don't.
So the loading phase is purely a marketing tool,
right,
to get you to go through it faster.
You've told me that before.
So it's not necessary. It's just if it's the recommended dose is 5 grams. If you're doing 10 grams for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it is, like you're going to go through it quicker, so then you buy more.
Right.
But the creatine bloat is creatine's putting water into your muscles, and that's why you have to drink more water, and that's going to help with your strength and everything. So I guess if you're doing a little bit too much, then it could bloat you a little bit more. That's something like with anything, just kind of up to you to like gauge and see how you feel with everything.
Is there a difference between the pills, the tablets, or the powders for creatine? Or the gummies. Do they sell? I don't know. But they have
the
like
gummies.
The gummies, yeah. The gummy creatine.
No, I don't think so. It's just price. Like the gummies are going to be way more expensive than powders.
Right.
And you're going to get less. So like if you're trying to be cost effective, then the powder is the way to go. But again, if you prefer the gummies for whatever reason, like it's not going to be bad. It's just going to be a lot more expensive.
Are there any kind of supplements that you think are super overhyped?
I take BCAAs, but that is something that it helped for me personally. I like during my workouts, but it's one of those things that I feel a lot of people like kind of lean on a little bit too much.
Right.
In a way, it's like, oh, I don't. It's one of those things that everyone talks about.
Right. So so to all my clients listening out there, let's not listen to the past 30 seconds because I'm always promoting BCAAs.
No, I mean I take them too, but it's one of those things that like gets so overhyped, I think. And there are a million different brands and everything. It's one of those things. If you're eating well, you don't need it.
Okay.
Right. Like as with most supplements, if you're eating a varied diet, you're probably not going to need it.
Right. Do you help your clients build a supplement routine? I mean, I feel like some of your clients probably come at you and they're like, I just want to look like you, or I just want
No, actually, no one.
no, okay, well, maybe not the 200, maybe not the 243
everyone's
pounds of you.
so I don't want to look like you, but I want to put on a little bit more muscle. Okay.
So what, like, so okay, but do clients come to you for like, or how do you help your clients go into like a supplement program for them that are maybe, more of a moderate size or build?
Well, so I always just say, like, if you're not eating fish or like getting omega 3s, do a fish oil.
Okay.
Multivitamins, probably a good idea. Creatine, BCAAs. I do tell people to do BCAAs if water is. Some people don't like drinking water, so it's like you flavor it and it's a little bit more healthy for you. Like, go that way, and then like there's like berberine and all these other things that, like, depending on if you have high cholesterol or whatever, you can look into these other supplements. But really, just BCAAs, a protein powder, a pre-workout if you want, fish oil, and multivitamin.
What do you talk to your clients about, or guide yourself with like gut health or anti-inflammation, things like that? Is there anything that you do to support that?
Not typically. If I do notice I'm having digestion issues, I'll do like a little bit more fiber and a prebiotic, probiotic. And I tell people that too. It's like something to look into. But that's also something I've come across over the years where people have a little. You hear things like, "Oh, too much is bad for you," or probiotics or whatever. Right. So I always say proceed with caution with stuff like that,
because everyone's getting their opinion online on social media and whatnot from everyone else. What are some of the fads that you see or hear that you laugh at? You're like, "Oh gosh, this is just ridiculous." Is there something that comes to mind?
Have you heard about the salmon one?
Wait, no. What do you mean?
So I don't know if people are still doing it, but people were injecting salmon.
Yeah, salmon, sperm. Into their face. Yeah, that's a huge fad right now. Does that work? I mean, what's it for?
I have no idea. I think it's just to promote health or like skin regeneration or something.
Right.
But it's just like,
I know.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
Yeah, I actually went to my facialist last week, and she was like, "Do you want?" I was like, "No, I don't think so. I'm good."
It's like, I'm good on that.
I don't know what that means, but no, I'm good. What about any kind of like trendy social media diets or anything like that? Have you heard anything that is not even necessarily diets, but maybe like certain workouts or?
Well, High Rocks is having its shine right now.
Yeah, it is having a shine.
And I mean, me personally, I've never been a fan of like those style of workouts, and it is kind of funny to see just.
Doesn't it mean hybrid rock star?
Yeah.
I think maybe you taught me that, or someone taught me that. It may have been you.
Yeah, hybrid rock stars.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see like the videos of these people, and it's like, yo, let's
calm down.
Let's calm down a little bit. Like you're running around and like doing 10 stations or whatever it is. Like you're not going to war. Like let's be real right now.
Right.
Like the way some of these people talk and act, it's like,
this podcast is not sponsored by High Rocks, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things where this is how I feel about group fitness in general. Like if it's something you enjoy, or like CrossFit, any of these things, if it's something you enjoy, go for it. Like have fun, whatever. People are probably going to laugh at you, whatever. If it's something you like, do it. But also just kind of, I don't know, stay in your lane is the right term, but just like take it for what it is, right? Like you're not going to war. Again.
Right. You're not going to be making all the progress that you think. That's like, it's like I'm going to go to a CrossFit class or a group fitness class or whatever it is and get all the results I want because I'm pushing myself 5 days a week at these classes and I'm, killing myself there. Where at the end of the day, it's a hit workout. As far as like actual fitness for longevity, a balance of resistance training, what kind of cardio do you suggest in different kind of time periods of your life? Are you a fan of HIIT? Are you a fan of list training? Like, what is your opinion on cardios?
I personally always lean more towards anything that doesn't really have a high impact on your joints.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older, like that can have very negative side effects. It's like biking, incline walking, things like, or just like going for walks, like I said biking. So like just going for walks and doing things like that, like adding little more movement into your day to day is enough for most people.
Right. What is like some sort of like a mindset that someone has to adapt to get themselves to like train for longevity? As far as like they're going to start a fitness program, they're going to start a workout program in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s. Like, what's the mindset they need to get themselves into to be like, okay, I want to sustain this for X amount of years?
I think just thinking about the other side in the future, right? Like if you don't work out, what is your 60s, 70s, potentially 80s going to look like?
Right.
Like
right.
I mean, you see people all the time where it's like, oh, he's a young 70. And then you see some people, it's like, oh, that's an old 70.
Right.
And the difference most of the time is going to be activity levels in your 20s and 30s.
Right.
So just think about it that way, where it's just like, oh, okay, I keep doing this. It's going to have major benefits down the road.
What is one of your biggest frustrations with some of your clients that are maybe not, someone comes and they come to you and they say, I want X, Y, Z. These are my goals. And then we've all had those clients that really don't put in any of the work. They show up, but they don't put in the work. So how do you push them? And when do you stop pushing them and just like kind of let them fly?
A test I always like to do with people to see how serious they are is at the end of a workout, we do a burnout set. And we'll do like 30 reps, like 30 to 50 reps or something, whatever it is.
I love a burnout set.
Usually like, like a machine row or whatever it is, right? Depending how they react to that, I know how they're going to be, if they're going to be a serious client or not.
Yeah.
Some people are like, absolutely, let's do it. And some people are like, oh, really? Like,
Right.
So that's
or it's
kind
like,
of,
I really have to go. I really have,
it's
I
like,
really
oh,
have
we
a call.
still have 15 minutes, but like, we can end early. Yeah. So that's something I've done in the past just to kind of gauge where people are at.
Why do you think some people abandon their goals like early? Is that because, I mean, it's supposed to be hard, right? It's not supposed to be easy, but besides like the fear of challenging themselves, like what do you think is the reason?
I think a lot of people don't realize how long this actually takes.
Right.
Like you see so many people online, whether it's true or not, you have no way of really knowing, but it's like, oh, here's what I did in 3 months.
Right.
And they look like a totally different person.
Right.
Like whether they lost 50 pounds or, whatever. And you see that and you're like, oh, I felt that way too. Like I see these guys who it's like, here's what I did in a year. And it's like, how'd you gain 80 pounds in a year? Like what? So you get frustrated, but then it's like, okay, you got to take a step back and be like, I don't know anything else about that person. Right. So like if they have a job, do you have a regular job? Like, do you have kids? Do you have a family? Like whatever, or can you just totally focus in on this? So people see that and they're like, oh, I'm not getting there. And it's like, no. Like this takes time. Like this takes a while.
I think that's one of my biggest like frustrations when I don't have that currently, but I have clients that, after three weeks, are you seeing any progress? I'm like, listen, of course there's progress. There's a little bit of like, you look a little tighter, you look a little bit more defined, but am I going to measure your bicep or measure your waist and see a big change? No. And like, it takes months. Like, I know that's like, this isn't like a quick fix. You know what I mean? Do you have clients like that?
I've had a few.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, how long until I start seing change? And like, it can be a month, it can be a couple of weeks. Like
it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Or it could be 6 months. Like, but I like drill this into people's heads. It's like, it's what you're doing outside of the gym. Cause like, you're here with me, say 2 to 4 hours a week,
right?
Depending.
And that's generous.
Well, like, yeah, some people are one, right? And it's like, we're doing what we have to do in here, of course, right? But what are you doing for those other hours of the week?
Right.
How are you eating? How are you recovering? Like all these things matter.
How much are you lying to me about it?
It's funny, like as you have. So tell me about your diet. What's your typical diet? I eat a salad and like maybe some eggs or something for breakfast. And then like you start, going a little bit more, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I have like 6 cookies and maybe like 2 slices of pizza, and
12 beers.
Exactly. So like I drink 6 days a week, and it's just like you start getting out a little bit more info, and it's always funny to see just how.
But a lot of people that I encounter, like the drinking and social drinking is a big problem where they think that 1 or 2 glasses of something a day won't stop their goals. I'm like, come on, you have to be kidding me. It's just having like a cheat meal every single day. It's wild. So what are your thoughts about Ozempic and all of that
GLPs? I think first, like you need a lot of weight to lose. I think a lot of people want to hop on where it's like, I want to lose 10 to 20 pounds. Okay. It's like, no, this is something that's like 50 plus pounds. Right. Like it's like a decent, that's a lot of weight. Right. B, you have to work out. Like I know a lot of people who hop on these things and they don't work out and they shrink away. And it's like, you look gaunt. Like you can't do that. And But I do think it could be a good like kickstart. If you have a lot of weight to lose and you start making the changes to your lifestyle, then like great. You know, you lose the whatever you're trying to lose and then you dial it back and eventually hop off.
And still getting enough protein intake somehow. I know that you're not hungry and your body doesn't really want to have that intake, but you have to figure out somehow to get that protein intake for you. So you don't, so your mass of your muscle just doesn't like dissipate.
No, exactly. It's the same as a bodybuilder on prep. So like, you know, you're eating less and less calories. You're keeping your protein super high just so that you're not losing muscle. Like, you know, you're doing all the cardio, you're still working out, you're eating next to nothing, but the vast majority of what you're eating is protein. Just so you're not losing muscle or like mitigating the muscle loss.
Right. Have you worked with clients on GLPs?
Yeah, I'm actually working with one now.
Yeah. And I mean, I have some experience with it with some of my clients, and I've had positive experiences, but I completely agree with that. I think it is a nice place to kickstart a program if you are overweight and have a substantial amount of weight to lose. But I do think that there's a component where some are just looking for a quick fix, and then that's when it becomes a problem. So what is there maybe like a mental barrier that you see that people try to overcome whenever it's getting into like long-term goals? You know, if they maybe have a goal that they want to achieve in 6 months or a year, and maybe they don't really have a lot of experience in the gym or experience with a program. What is one mental barrier that they have to overcome that you witness?
I'd say, like I said before, just kind of that chase for perfection, where it's like I have to eat organic and I have to worry about the seed oils and I have to worry about this and I have to worry about that, and you know I have to get 9 hours of sleep and I got whatever. It's like, no, let's just start slow,
right?
Like build up on habits. Don't like, you know, with drinking, for example. I always say, okay, you're drinking say 3 to 4 times a week. Let's cut that down to 2,
right? And
then we can maybe cut it down to 1 and hopefully 0,
right?
Like if I had my way, no one that I train would drink, but I'm not going to do that. Like, you know, if
you just had wine in Italy.
Well, no, I'm saying, but like over like most of the time,
of course.
Yeah, but it's like I'm not going to tell people to quit drinking.
Right.
I've had a couple people just like, yeah, I'm just not going to drink, and they've seen a ton of change because of that.
Of course.
But you know, it's not something I'm ever going to promote. But it's like let's just build up on the small habits.
What do you think in the next like 5 to 10 years with GLPs and things like that, the conversation about longevity is going to be? I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot more going on it as there's new variations and opportunities for people to take it.
It's going to be a pill soon.
Yeah.
And that's going to be way more accessible to a lot of people.
Right.
And cheaper.
Yes. Are there any kind of like trends or any new research coming out that in the like health and wellness world that you're like keeping an eye out for?
I mean, the GLPs becoming more prominent, I think, is going to totally change the landscape. Like obesity could potentially be eradicated, which is kind of wild to think about.
Right.
Like, I mean, obesity is like kind of a new-ish disease in terms of like how widespread it is now. So if we can eradicate it within, just say it's been around for 50 years, let's say, if we could eradicate it within 50 years, like that's kind of wild to think about.
Whenever you think about like longevity and things that people should kind of take with them, is there a principle that you think that everyone should kind of adapt to? I mean, you said before, like having some strength training and things like that. Is there, like, how would you kind of say, like wrap it all into a bubble? Like, what do you think someone should do to keep their fitness and health and mindset into a longevity like mindset?
I think the 80-20 rule when it comes to diet, where it's just like, you know, 80% of the time you're eating clean, you're doing everything perfectly. And then that 20% you can kind of do what you want.
Right.
Like that keeps things fresh and it keeps things like fun for people. Because if you're like, oh, you're only eating chicken and rice, like 99% of people aren't doing that forever.
Right. And so after you do your next competition, which is what month?
Probably not, if not this coming November, like the following year sometime.
So where do you see yourself? I mean, you're 34. Like, where do you see yourself when you're 40? Do you see yourself like trying to, go pro and stay pro for long term, or that's just like one of the things where you want to get that card and then you want to dial it back?
No, I mean, I would like to compete at the pro level, but the biggest thought that I've had, like the biggest deciding factor, is honestly like if having a family and having children in the next couple of years becomes like a real possibility, just because competing and having a newborn baby just
it's impossible.
Yeah,
right? Sure.
I can't even imagine. But so that's something I've considered too. And then also, as you get older, it just becomes impossible to compete with the younger guys.
Right. So
like, if I'm 40 competing with 20-year-olds, like it's just not going to work.
Right.
So hopefully, you know, if I get my pro card in the next like 3 years, and like we can decide from
You can
there.
hang your head high and like
Exactly. So I accomplished this, and like I did it, and maybe do a pro show or two.
Yeah.
If you know, if I'm approaching 40, then we'll see. But in terms of training, I'm probably always going to keep training this way. Just obviously not going to be as intense. I'm not going to be lifting as heavy. And like when it comes to food, still like mostly be eating the same things, but just like kind of change it up how I can. Like, you know, I'll be eating chicken and rice most of the time anyway. Like, you know, I enjoy it, and just like switch it up and add like some sauces or, you know, whatever.
You definitely will stop lifting that heavy, because I remember when I was your age, I was lifting very heavy myself. I would have 3 plates on each side. Like, I sound like one of those old men. Like back in the day,
I used to bend
like,
4 or 5.
I used to walk 5 miles to school, like, you know,
Uphill both ways.
both ways. Is my father. So I like to do a little thing called like a little rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. So what is the most underrated exercise for lifelong strength?
Squats.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What is the most overrated trend in fitness right now? I know your answer.
High rocks.
We can skip over that one. Again, this podcast is not sponsored by High Rocks. Your go-to recovery tool.
Theragun.
Okay, perfect. One supplement you swear by.
Creatine.
Best habit for physical longevity.
Sleep.
My favorite. What's the worst habit for longevity?
Overtraining, or like pushing yourself a little bit too hard.
Okay. Favorite way to move your body outside the gym?
Just walking.
All right, so thank you for this talk with me today about sustainability and longevity and fitness.
Of course.
For all of you back here, if you want to hear more and follow Anthony and his journey, he has a lot of valuable information to give. So you follow him on Instagram at Lenti Anthony. It's LENTIANTHONY. And for all of you watching and listening here, wherever you watch and listen to your podcast, please like, subscribe, leave us comments. It really helps, promote the brand and promote this podcast. So questions at mindbodymethodpodcast.com. And you can follow me at joshgrim_fitnut, FITNUT. Thanks.
Boom.
Thank you for joining me today on Mind Body Method. This podcast is part of Pride House Media, hosted by me, Josh Grimm, produced and edited by Josh Rosenzweig. Original music composed by Nell Balabin. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're there, leave us a rating and review. It really helps others to discover the show. I love to stay connected with you, so join the conversation by following me at joshgrim_fitnut on Instagram, and by emailing me at questions@mindbodypodcast.com.